the remembering is really remembering that we are all the same. A lot of people talk about the oneness and all of that, but there's difference in understanding it in the mind and really feeling it and embodying it like a deep knowing. These things that I'm talking about, it's bigger than the brain. It's nothing that we can find in the brain. It's not in the brain. It's not there. You know, so if you do hear that voice in your brain that's saying, oh, I'm not sure, that's okay. That's fine. You can, I mean, if you want, I'm inviting you to be curious about that voice. What is the drive behind that voice? Is that trying to protect you from something? Is that trying to maybe keep you small because it's safe? Maybe there's something around self-worth. Maybe I'm not worthy of this type of power. I'm not worthy of being that type of vast, infinite being. You know, there's a belief because of the trauma or because of the stories that were put onto you, whether if it's from the society or from generations before, there's a belief that's kind of put onto you and you're kind of carrying it on your back. Maybe there was something like that. So I just want to invite you to kind of look what's behind it. When I talk about this like remembering who we are, the image I had in this like awakening, I'm going to try to explain it, but again, it's bigger than the brain. So it's nothing like, actually, I'm going to show you. There's like this one truth. And the reason why I'm like drawing it like wide is because it feels wide. We are all it. And when I say we are all it, I mean humans, you know, us as humans, animals, bugs, trees, the earth, planets, the stars, everything is that one truth, right? Everything is that. We're all it. What happened is that when we are coming into a human body and we are born into a family, it's not necessarily just our family line, but it's like the collective. There's a lot of traumas, there's a lot of programmings. And so what happens, all of these programmings took us like way out. And it's like the image I have, it's like this. Like it took us way out and like it's like endless and it's like very pointy. It's like endless of things, endless of directions that's so far from this truth, so far. It's like, whoa, what? And bunch of like these, like tons, you know, and I see all of these like pointy things. It's like programmings. It's like the programming is going so far out of the truth. And so when we are deprogramming the programming and in that process of remembering in what I had in the awakening, it's literally going back in the programming, going back into the truth, okay? Going back in the programming into the truth. So the image I had, I don't know if that makes sense. It's like really chaotic, but the image I had, it's like this adjustments. It's like, this is the one truth. And it's like this adjustments and you kind of bring it back. Like you come back to the truth. It's like one clear line and you have to kind of come back to it with like this process. Like this is the image that I had. And I was feeling into it, especially the second time that I had it. And I was like, this feels familiar. I remember it. Like it feels, feels like a very, very, very distant dream. It's like this motion of coming back to the truth. This motion feels familiar to me. Like I've felt it somewhere. I felt it somewhere. And so like this motion is something that I know that I felt it many, 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 many times. And I don't know if it was when I was alive in a human body, or maybe that's happened when I died in parallel lives or whatever. But it's like, it felt familiar to me. And I was like, I don't know anything else in our reality that demonstrate that feeling, like that kind of coming back with like the adjustments kind of coming back. And it's like, and then it's funny because like another image I had in was how much like food that is programmed is like the same thing. It was, okay, this is a good example because it happens with food that it's programmed. So imagine that we have a potato, okay? Potato. This is the real thing. It's the real thing. It's like the potato. Pretty straightforward, a potato. And in order for you to become a potato chips, especially from like the really unhealthy kind, the amount of programmings that it needs to go through in order to become a potato chips is insane. Insane. It's like potato chips and potatoes, it's like it's the same thing, but it's like, wow, you went really far from who you are, you know? And so it's a good example, because I literally saw the image, like this is actually what happens to food. Like a lot of the food in, you know, in our culture and like in the food system, food that is so programmed and is so far from the source and so far from what it is, it's basically food that was going through programming. In other words, processed food. What happens when we get to this truth that we are, there is a certain alignment that's happening, first of all, within us, within our bodies, within our own physical bodies, but also as a collective, as human species. Because the more of us that are going to basically remember this truth, the truth that like what we are, where we came from and how far we've gone from the truth of who we are. Obviously, every single person, there's so many different things and different traumas and different programmings, like from your own lineage, from your own race, from your own different culture, different country, different family, different religion. The bottom line, where we all came from, is here. And when I say all, I mean all of us. Even those who are really, really, really bad people that are doing horrible things in the world, they also came from this. They're also it, but they forgot so far out, totally forgot who they are. There's so much pain that happens in the world. If it's war, if it's killing, if it's, you know, sexual abuse, if it's just so many things. And it's just really what it comes to show is like how far we've gone as humans, how far we've gone from the truth of who we are, how far we've forgotten. And yet there's still all of these things around us that is just there. The trees, the water, the fire, the earth, the air. It's all that same thing. And it's literally right here. It's everywhere. But we, in our own experience from the inside, we forgot so much. We went so far. I also really believe that our soul is choosing if to remember or not for a different reason, because we have a different path. Or honestly, if you watched until here, if you're still here watching it, you're probably like, you feel the curiosity. There's something in your soul that's like pulling you towards it. There's something in your soul that's like, wow, this feels true. This feels interesting. I feel drawn to this for some reason, even if you can't make sense of it. Even if your mind is telling you this is fucking crazy, Hannah lost her mind, she doesn't know what she's talking about. But if you're still here, it's probably your soul that's like feeling that pull. That's like, ooh, what is that? You know, there's like a certain curiosity that's happening. So I just want to invite you to notice like what's happening underneath the surface. Even though your mind may tell you things that are totally not in alignment with what I just literally said. Let me know in the comments if you would be interested in that. And if you are feeling the pull, if you're feeling curious, if you're feeling like, okay, this is something, there's something that's interesting to me about it. I feel like even if your brain still tells you like, this is nuts, this is insane, that's okay. I really want to invite you to look in the description below, and I have my website there. There's a client application to fill out where you can fill it out and see if we're a good match energetically. But I don't want you to just do it because I just said it. I want you to really feel in your body, like really feel, if you can feel like a certain pull, if you can feel a certain curiosity about what is this, it's interesting to me. And then if you do it. But if not, then don't do it, because this is how, you know, I also work with the energy, and I know and I believe that the right people are coming to me working with the energy. I don't necessarily want everybody to come to me. So if you don't feel that curiosity, if you don't feel that pull within you, that's totally fine. That's totally, maybe not now, maybe later. As you know, I work with the chakras. So the chakras are the 7 main energy centers that are in our body. Of course, there's way more than 7, but these are the 7 main ones. Hey, they're right here that I'm working with. And we're really kind of diving in. We're diving in to get to know different traumas, different programmings, different things that are kind of affecting and kind of sitting in our system, in our physical and energetic body. And we're starting to get to know these programmings, and we're starting to get to know those parts, those wounded parts, and we're starting to have a relationship with them. And if you want to actually watch a video where I walked myself through a similar process where I walked my clients, obviously with my clients it's a little bit different because I also add energy healing, which kind of bring things to the surface and help them see more visuals and help them really connect with more of the energy, if that makes sense. I watch this video here. You can really kind of like see the process. I also made a PDF there that you can kind of download and see. I would really appreciate any feedback. If you have any specific topic that you would really like me to like expand on and go deeper on, something that maybe doesn't, you feel like you're curious but it's something is just not making sense to you, just comments. I would be interested to know what your thoughts are. So thank you for listening, thank you for tuning in.